And we are live. What's good, people? It's your man DL Saint sitting here. As y'all know, just getting started in this YouTube space. Came up with a channel, and I have a podcast that I am working on right now. That hopefully you'll be watching. If you're not watching now, I have zero watchers right now, but it's cool. It's the middle of the day. I just decided to jump on. The name of the podcast is DL Saint. I really want to know, right? So I know what you're thinking. Yo, Saint, why are you on right now, going live? There's nothing going on. Well, I think there is something going on. Earlier today in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the Fresh and Fit podcast was a guest on the PBD podcast, which is the Patrick Bet David podcast, who is a guy I recently discovered. I really love this man's story. Immigrant, came here from Iran, I believe, when he was very young. Was not an ideal student in high school. Uh, Managed to stay out of trouble. Joined the military. Got out of the military. Got into the finance world. Right, just trying to make it, trying to bounce around. I know he was in the streets doing things as people like me have. I ain't gonna lie. I did some things. Whatever it is, what it is. I'm not bragging. I'm not proud of it. I'm not running from it. It is what it is. But he went on to get in the finance world, and he's a self-made millionaire, right? And his show is amazing. Like I don't agree with all the stuff on this platform with all of his different guests and their views. Not supposed to. It's just content. It allows you to open your mind and take in someone else's point of view and take in their experiences and think, right? I mean, especially someone like me who really wants to know, right? So he has like wise guys on his shows and MMA fighters and boxers and political types. He had Rob Blagojevich on there. I haven't watched that episode yet, but I will watch it. Very controversial elected official, actually did time in the state of Illinois. He was the governor of Illinois when Barack Obama made a successful run to be president of the United States, and that vacated a Senate seat. And there was some issues behind that, and I guess some other issues, and he wound up actually getting locked up. There's some time. He's known for his hair. I remember Jon Stewart was having a ball with that guy when he was going through his problems. I'm definitely gonna watch that episode. But my guys, Fresh and Myron, were on their show today, the PBD podcast, and I'm just so proud of them because I checked it out, and I have been waiting for this. I have been waiting for this interview forever because now I have an interview that I can send to people when they're asking me about the Fresh and Fit platform. And I just wanted to jump on here because I'm so excited for my dudes. And the thing is, the guys are really, I guess within Patrick, Mr. Bet David's camp, there were people there that like, man, we don't want these guys. These guys are clowns. I'm paraphrasing and making it up, but you can honestly feel that there might have been some tension on set. Waiting for these guys to show up. Fresh and Myron to show up, and people don't know these guys. People, they judge them. We judge books on the cover and all that, and we all this. But on YouTube, these dudes are legit hated. People hate these guys. Having never watched 10 minutes of their content, they just hate them. And then you have the people who support them, people like me, and you have the people who are on there and learning from these lessons from their experiences and experiences from other people about these guys, right? And they are actually trying to do good things for people. If you will listen, they're trying to help you out, especially men who are terrible with women and have no idea how to move in today's dating scene. I'm here to tell y'all, as an old man, I'm 51 years old, right? I've never really had problems with women, right? I am the opposite of Fresh and Myron. I was a natural, so to speak. In my environment, you came up and you learn how to make things happen. You learn how to talk to people. You learn how to talk to women in particular, right? I was one of the cool kids. You know, I played sports, played the saxophone, right? I was socially calibrated to an extent, not right away. I had to learn how to grow into it, but I wasn't a complete weirdo as a little one. I was able to grow up and I was able to talk to women. So when I became an adult, you know, by the time I became an adult, I knew what time it was. So when I joined the military and went away, I knew how to holler at chicks, right? Parking lot pimping was a real thing when I was coming up in the 90s, right? If I see you go to the mall, I see you in the mall, I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna talk to you. Hey, what's going on, right? I'm 6 feet, right? I was a handsome little tyke, right? I wasn't ugly. I didn't have any deformities or anything like that. Now, I didn't make a lot of money, but I did have game. So I was able to get chicks. Never had a real problem. But there are a lot of men out there who struggle with that. Legit struggle. They don't understand how difficult it is. Well, not they. They understood how difficult it was. I didn't understand how difficult it was for them to get on with chicks. I never did. I never did. And it wasn't until recently, and I'm talking the past few years, where I actually thought about it and looked at it. Excuse me, guys, if people are texting me and stuff like that. Like I said, it's the middle of the day, and I want to jump on my own live broadcast just to see what it looked like. So I'm going to my own channel, and I'm live, and I'm in there, which using StreamYard. And they don't pay me to, to advertise their product, but I really like it. I'm starting to figure it out. So back to what I was saying. I realized how difficult now it is for guys. And I'm listening to not just Fresh and Fit. So I'll tell the story how I stumbled onto their platform. And I'm going to be 100 with it. A couple years ago, I was living in Los Angeles, going through a really, really, really difficult time in family court, right? I'm a single dad. My 13-year-old daughter lives with me. I have a 4-year-old son who I don't have any contact with. I'm just going to keep it 100. I went through probably the worst experience in my life dealing with the family court system and dealing with the person on the other end who knew they had the leverage and knew how to work the system and was really using this system as a weapon against me. So, leverage our child and use our child as a pawn, right? In a way to effectively get what she want, which I most only can assume was she wanted money. She wanted to hurt me. Right? These are two things. And in California, especially in Van Nuys, California, in that family court, men don't stand a chance. I went through 3 attorneys. I'm paying a lot of money in child support. I don't get to see my child, right? Because at the end of this process, I was like, that's it. I'm done. I need to walk away because if I don't, something's going to happen. There's certain types of people in this world that I have noticed, right? There are people that break and they don't want any kind of conflict and they run and they hide and they're like sheep. And then there are people who are warriors. There are people who, hey, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone. And then if you keep coming, you're going to get what you're looking for. And when you cross that plane, right, it's like that old saying about the Romans. When you cross the Rubicon, it's a wrap, right? Ain't no going back. It's when you open Pandora's box, you ain't putting it back in. You dig? Now, as an older man, I knew that. I know myself, right? I knew it. And it goes into, like, I do a lot of reading. It goes into the teachings of Sun Tzu in the art of warfare. Know yourself, know your enemy, right? If you know yourself, you know your enemy, you will always be successful. And I'm paraphrasing, there's a lot more to it. But if you know yourself and you know your enemy, there's no way you can be defeated. I know myself. I could see what was going on with this court system. I can see what this individual was doing to me. And I knew how I was going to respond if pushed far enough, right? I knew it. So I had to walk away. And that is a shame. That is an absolute shame. That is a tragedy. That is evil, in my opinion, when you force someone to make that decision to leave a child behind, right? I don't care about the money, right? I don't care about the anger, the anguish, and all that. All I want to do is spend time with my little boy. And I had to make this decision. I had to remove myself from the situation, because if I didn't, things would have got out of hand. And like I said, once you cross the Rubicon, ain't no going back. Once you open Pandora's box, what's done is done, right? And I have 2 children to think about. And it's far better for me to at least be here and be here for my daughter and be the father for my daughter, right? And make that work and sacrifice my son, to remove myself from that situation, because in the long run, it is better for the children, which kills me, because when you're in court, you're going to hear this one term a lot. Right? It is in the best interest of the child. You're going to hear that over and over and over again. It's in the best interest of the child, right? They could care less about the kid. I'm just keeping it 100. If you find yourself in a situation with a grown-up who is willing to use a system to benefit themselves and to hurt another person, it's just too much to fight. The odds are stacked up against you. There's nothing you can do about it. Right. And I suggest you walk away, because we hear so many stories of men, right, who they get pushed too far and that box opens up and they act. And it's these horrific stories. And we're not going to go into that. We'll save that for another show. But I was dealing with that. I was an air traffic controller. One of the most stressful jobs you can have. I'm here to tell you, everything you heard about air traffic control and the stress involved with that career, 100% true. 100% true. It is stressful. It is so stressful. I can tell you stories of me working 45 minutes to an hour and a half of some serious air traffic control scenarios and coming back on break and just sit there for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, can't move. All the mental gymnastics, like, it's completely just worn out. And then you got to go back up and do it again. Right? So everything they say about air traffic control is true. So I'm doing that. I'm an air traffic controller. I was in a relationship with an individual. Things didn't work out. Then they double back and they say, hey, I'm pregnant. Like, in all the after school specials we watched their kids, it was just I couldn't believe it. Like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. Me and this individual had talked about it. Well, if we slip up, we make a mistake, then we should just, come together and raise the kids. This is a person who's doing well financially. At the time they were making about $80,000 a year. I was making a lot more than that, right? And well, I ain't gonna say a whole lot more than that, but I was in the 6 figures, and this person was like $80,000 a year, and I'm like, you know what? The numbers mesh. We're in Southern California with our combined income and with the earnings that I can make. I wasn't maximizing my money as far as earnings in my field. I could have made some moves, got some pay raises. I could have worked overtime. I could have gotten some promotions and actually raised my pay, which wouldn't have been a problem. And between the two of us, we'd have been sitting around maybe $300,000 a year. Actually, I could have done that within 3 years. Easy. And even in LA with $300,000 a year, you can live. You can live. Like, you're not going to Mr. Child's every night, but you are going to Mr. Child's, right? You can take vacations, right? You can, You could even get yourself into a property, although the property value in California is ridiculous. It always will be. But we could have gotten into a starter home and somewhere within the San Fernando Valley, Long Beaches, Long Beach, somewhere as far south as Long Beach or as far north as Santa Clarita, Valencia, maybe even Canyon Country. We could have gotten a place. We probably would have came in a house, a decent house for the family. Probably got like a 4-bedroom. Probably would have came in at just under $1 million, but you can do that on 300,000. You really can. 300,000 in good credit, you can get yourself a nice starter home in LA. And yes, I did say starter home for $1 million. I'm not tripping. Go look it up. California is expensive. The rest of America, y'all have no idea what expensive is. New York, California, expensive. People talk about, oh, it's pricey in Miami. Nothing compared to LA. Nothing compared to San Francisco. Nothing compared to San Diego. Nothing compared to Manhattan. You know what I mean? Just so y'all know. But, okay. The relationship didn't work. Well, okay, you're pregnant, right? Without using this, I didn't say it to her face, but I'm like, okay, I'm stuck with you. All right, well, let's go ahead and merge ourselves and become a family unit and raise the kids. I had even introduced her to my daughter, which is something I never do, right? Introduced her to my daughter, especially when it's someone who doesn't have a kid. I'm really, really cautious of that. But again, I'm looking at this woman like, okay, this is someone that I could be with when I first met her, because I was stuck on that Disney fairy tale, right? Something you would hear in the red space community, like the red space part of the internet all the time, the Disney fairy tale. I was stuck on that. I'm like, okay, she checks these boxes. I was more concerned with income and all this other kind of stuff. And I was ignoring all the red flags. So when you watch platforms like Entrepreneurs in Cars, and you hear Rich Cooper talking about red flags and ignoring red flags to your own detriment, this is what he's talking about. Rollo Tomasi talks about this too. You know what I mean? Coach Greg Adams talks about it. Donovan Sharp talks about it, right? Coach Red Pill talks about it. There's tons of the roommates even talk about it. You know what I mean? They're a real tame version of this, genre, but they even talk about it. And of course, Fresh and Fit talk about it all the time, right? So I'm dealing with that, right? I have decided, like, I'm going to marry this woman, right? And so I had to go buy a ring. I went out, I found an exquisite stone. It was, I forget the cut. It was a Marquise cut. Beautiful stone. It was just under 2 carats. Oh, it was amazing. I still have a picture of it somewhere, right? Because I'm like, I'm only going to do it once. I'm only going to get married one time. That was my thing back then. Like, if I ever get married, I'm only going to do it once. And if I do it, it's going to be good. So we're doing all this. I'm like, all right, this is what we're doing. And again, she's doing things and saying things that was just red flag, red flag, red flag. But by this point, it didn't matter. I'm like, I'm going to have to deal with this somehow. I'm just going to have to find a way to maneuver around these red flags. I'm going to have to find a way. And the biggest thing with this particular person is they were absolutely like the boss bitch, boss babe, whatever you want to call it, the independent, right? The feminist, right? Got all this, I got degrees. She's like, well, I went to this college and got a bachelor in this. I'm working on a master in that. This, that, and the third. And she would kind of use that. That was her power. I have degrees. Like, what degree do you have? I'm like, I graduated from the School of Hard Knocks, right? I got a PhD in the streets. What do you mean? What you need higher education? I'm like, I make more than you. I make twice as much money as you. You owe more money to the school system than you earn. I'm like, who's the Mac? You fell for the okie doke. You don't need a degree. You don't. You really don't need a degree. You don't. So, and that, that didn't go over well. She hated that. We would go back and forth. She would always say, I'm smarter than you. And I think she was really insecure with her intellect, right? She would surround herself with dummies, right? I had a nickname for her. I talked to her about my buddy. I used to call her the Duchess of Dumbasses, right? Because that's it. She only had these stupid, needy people around her that always were coming to her. And I guess that was feeding to her ego. Meanwhile, if you come to a room with me, you come somewhere with me, I'm never the smartest guy in the room. I'm never the most successful guy in the room. If I am the smartest, most successful person in the room, I'll look around and I'm like, hey, I'm in the wrong room and I'm leaving because there's nothing I can gain out of this circle. There's nothing in this room that's going to benefit me, right? Yes, I can benefit all these people in the room, but I want something back in return. So no, if you are in the room and you are the smartest, hardest working, most successful person in the room, you, my friend, are in the wrong room. You need to leave and go find another room with people smarter than you, who work harder than you, that are more successful than you, right? Go ahead and take that. I'll go ahead and give you that one, right? So long story short, it didn't work. I'm like, no, we're not getting married. Oh, and I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you the straw that broke the camel's back. It's like, okay, we're going to get married. Fine. And she's asking me all these questions. It don't mean nothing until you give me a ring. Yeah, I'm just not going to snap my finger and have this, 1.8 carat ring just show up. I got to go find the ring, right? That takes time. That's the whole process. I did it. Then she's like, well, when are we going to get married? Because she was pregnant and she wanted to be married before she had the child. So there was this rush. I'm like, well, wait, how the baby will plan it out. Nope. She wanted to be married before she had our child. And I think that had a lot to do with her, like, I want to be traditional and this, that, and the third. Like, well, if you were traditional, you wouldn't be rocking me out like that. So it is what it is. But for whatever reason, this is what she wanted to do. I said, fine. She was like, so what are you going to plan for the wedding? I said, well, since I'm only going to do it once, this is what I'm going to do. We're going to go to Bora Bora, right? We're going to there's these huts on the water and they have see-through floors, like glass floors, and you can see down and fish. Like the animals or fish in the ocean will swim up to the glass. I mean, I've seen pictures of it. It's amazing. It's one of the places I'm definitely going to go. I haven't been yet. Like, this is where we're going to go. We're going to go here, right? We're going to put our feet in the water and under the stars, right? Under the universe where there's hardly any pollution, no light pollution. You can actually look up and see the universe, which is beautiful. I don't know if anyone's ever had that opportunity, but you want to go somewhere where you can actually see the stars at night. It's amazing. It is amazing. Again, I'll do an episode on that when I talk about actually looking at the stars. But I wanted to put our feet in the water under the stars because I'm not a traditional religious guy, right? I don't subscribe to any one God or gods or anything like that. And and I've actually talked about that on some other people's podcasts. But I can believe in the universe because you can see that. And we would sit there, put our feet in the water, and when we'll make these vows to ourselves in the presence of the universe to be faithful and loyal, whatever we're going to say to each other, basically get married like that. That's what I wanted to do. And she was like, okay, well, my parents want to be there. I'm like, you sure your parents want to be there? Because this is expensive. It's not cheap, right? And no offense to you and your parents, but y'all ain't got bread like that. You know what I mean? Well, no, you're going to have to pay for my parents to be there. I'm like, no, that's not how it works, right? In fact, if you're traditional, your dad's supposed to be paying for this wedding, right? Your dad's supposed to be giving me money. I get a dowry for taking you on. That's traditional if we want to get into it. Nah, I'm not paying for your family, your mom and dad, to come have a vacation on me. Absolutely not. So she was like, well, what are we going to do then? I'm like, oh, it's something. You plan it. You plan it. You tell me where I need to be, when I need to be there, and what I need to wear. You plan it. If you don't want to do what I want to do, fine, you do it. So she cobbled together this ghetto ratchet thing. And I told her, I've already planned what I want to do. You don't want nothing to do with it? Don't ask me any questions. I'm not going to take part in this planning process at all. I don't want nothing to do with whatever it is you about to try to do, right? And don't ask me for money, right? And then we went back and forth like, oh, okay, I'll pay for half of this wedding. I'll pay for half. Well, I can do it cheap. I'm good at this and that. And I find deals and whatever. So needless to say, we never got married, right? What she was trying to do was horrible. And again, once I stopped ignoring the red flags, I could see what I was dealing with. I was dealing with a really troubled individual. Like this person was bad, right? She was bad. I don't know what happened to her, right? Because they always say that to people, oh man, who hurt you, this, that, and the third. But in this person's case, yeah, she definitely needs professional help to peel back the layers and figure out where she went wrong in her life, right? And unfortunately for me, in that Disney fairy tale, I chose the wrong one. The people, so you saying you're a victim? No, I'm not a victim. I chose that woman. I slept with that woman. I had unprotected sex with that woman. Whether I did it one time or I did it 100 times, I did it. Right? I chose to ignore her red flags. Right? I met her. The day I met her, I was sober. I walked out of the bar. I saw her and her friends. I didn't want nothing to do with them. I was in Hollywood. Like, man, ain't no way I'm talking to them. I don't want nothing to do with them. Fast forward 4 hours later, I'm drunk in another bar. They come walking in. Yeah, I wind up taking her home. Smashed her. I should have left it at that because that's what she is. She is the plaything. She is the thought. She's the chick that goes out there, the side chick. That's what she even said it. She's like, I'm a side chick. I ignored it to my own detriment. My fault. Yo, the saint screwed that up. I am 100% right accountable for my actions with reference to that relationship, right? And I tried to make it work. Again, that was me. I am accountable for that. I screwed that up, right? So, like I said, it didn't work. It's my fault, right? Now, my son is innocent in all this, right? He didn't ask to be here. He certainly didn't ask to be born to some dysfunctional woman and a hardcore dad. He didn't ask for that, but that's the situation he's in. Now, I don't know how this is going to play out moving forward, right? I can only hope for the best. I hope one day that I can have a relationship with my son, but I won't be there now, right? I'm not going to be there. I'm not there. It's 100% her. She's probably got him in ballet classes, wearing tutus, wearing makeup. Who knows, right? I have no say in any of that. And it is what it is, right? So hopefully one day he'll reach out to me and we can have a conversation and I can show him what happened, right? And by show him, I mean, I have all of the transcripts. Well, not quite all of them now, but I have transcripts from the court hearings. I'm going to get the remaining transcripts from the court hearings so he can see what happened. I have all the text messages. I have the receipts, right? And I'm going to compile those receipts into a little thumb drive or whatever. I'm going to put them on. Maybe I'll put it on the cloud, wherever I'm going to put it. So when I do see him, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be upset and he's going to be armed with half the story, right? I'm pretty sure he's going to be told the narrative. Men ain't shit. Black men ain't shit. Your father ain't that. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. He walked out on us. He walked down. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. I hope I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. And when he comes to me, I can simply give him the receipts. Here you go. Go read this. Go take all this in, right? And when you're done, we'll talk. Hell, by the time he gets old enough, I'm going to have a documentary about the whole process because it was just that terrible. I really want to share the process of going through the family court system. And like in the red pill, when they say when you get graped, right, we're not going to use the R word, right? But there is a such thing as family court grape. You getting it. They bending you over, bro. You getting it. Right? It's coming. And it is what it is. Right? Now, that might change seeing how women are now getting caught up in this, you know, talking about Kelly Clarkson paying $46,500 a month in child support. Right, Halle Berry had a bunch. I think she's down to $16,000 a month in child support. So that's for another topic, another show. I think they might change the way they do business in family court a little bit because it's starting to affect women negatively. And so all that happened to me in California. I went through a bad time. I had to go seek counseling. I had to go talk to my doctor because people talk about anxiety and this and that. My anxiety got really bad. There was a lot I was dealing with, and it was all coming to a head, and I knew it. I'm like, man, if I don't get some help, I might do something I'm going to regret later. And if you got all that stuff on your mind, it's really difficult to be an air traffic controller. It's really difficult to climb into that tower and control airplanes and keep people alive when you got all this stuff weighing on your mind, just kind of swimming around in there, right? I couldn't do the job. I couldn't sleep. I wasn't eating right. I couldn't focus, right? I'm getting tore up. Like I'm making all this money as an air traffic controller, and I still had to drive Uber just to make enough money to pay the child support that they hit me with. They hit me with so much child support, and the judge was like, you're going to have to pay extra for this and extra for that, and it got up there, right? So I was still paying a little over $2,500 a month in child support. I'm retired. I don't make a fraction of what I made, and I'm still paying that, right? Still trying to get that changed. Right? That's how the process works, right? It's horrific. You are definitely getting graped by a grape ape. For all the old people like me know I'm talking about grape ape. I'm gonna have to get that T-shirt. Yeah, but give me a month. You're gonna see me wearing a grape ape T-shirt. And for all young people out there, it was a Hanna-Barbera cartoon from back in the 80s. It was funny. Imagine Scooby-Doo instead of a dog. It's a big gorilla, a really big gorilla, like big as a house. And all he would say is grape ape. It was hilarious. So anyway, I had to go to my doctor. My doctor had to prescribe me some pretty powerful psychedelics to keep me level, to calm me down. And because of that, I had to walk away from my career as an air traffic controller. I couldn't do it. There's certain medications in our field you cannot work on, and the stuff that they prescribe me, you cannot. They didn't want me to walk onto the airport, and they want you nowhere near airplanes. And in our field, in air traffic, you can retire at age 50 if you have enough time in service. I had enough time in service, so I just went ahead and retired. You know, there are people like, oh, you could get a medical retirement and do all this. Like, man, I'm not trying to fight all that, man. It's over. It's over. I'm going to close this chapter on my life. I'm going to grab my daughter, and we're going to move to Florida, move to Tampa, where I have family and I have support, and I can sit down and I can get my head right. So that's what brought me here to Florida. Now, my last year to 18 months in California, while I was going through all this, I had met this woman, this beautiful woman, sharp, Latin, just gorgeous. We had a lot in common. I met her years and years ago, and then I saw her on I think it was Facebook, and then I sent her a message on Facebook. I started texting her, you know what I mean, single mom, doing well, and during that phase, that when it was when that case, and we're gonna call it a case with my son and this woman, and it got so bad, his mom, when I was going through the worst of that, I would have this woman who was kind of like an angel almost. You feel me? Like she came into my life at the perfect time to keep me calm. She was that element, that feather that landed on the correct side of things, right? Had she landed on the I'm about to tear shit up side, I would have tore shit up, but she didn't. She landed on the other side. It kept me balanced. She landed on, stay calm. You are a great person. You are loved. Let's talk about maybe our future, that kind of thing, right? To this day, I credit her with saving my life. I really do. I credit her with saving my life And because of her, I'm here for my daughter. And then who knows, at some point, maybe I'll even be here for my son. But it was her. I'm not gonna say her name, because once I got to Florida, things changed. And here's the thing. I understand female nature. I always have. But I also bought into the Disney fairy tale. The Disney fairy tale is powerful. It is extremely powerful, right? I would argue that the Disney fairy tale is more powerful than religion, right? I guarantee you, in America, more people believe in the Disney fairy tale than believe in God, right? That's how ingrained that is into our society, right? So here's this woman that came about when I needed someone the most, right? She's everything I would ever want. She's beautiful, right? She's funny, right? She's successful, right? We had all these things in common. And we just had a continent between us. I'm on one coast and she's on the other coast. And then I come out here and you talk about pedestalizing somebody. And here's the thing, I knew better, but it didn't matter because I was 100% in to the Disney fairy tale. So I pedestalized her. I did everything. You want to say simp? Super simp. Bro, I was, what E40 call him, man? Captain Save-A-Ho. 100%. I was all about that. And I didn't care because in my mind, the way I saw it, she saved me, right? I'm just showing her how grateful I am to have her. Man, I'm talking about, man, I would send flowers, chocolate covered strawberries, anything that she would think of. Like one day we were FaceTiming and she was like, oh man, you know, I had a rough day, man. I could really use a massage. I bought her a massager and had it sent to her house. Amazon, gotta love it. Sent her a massager which she loved. She had just moved into a house. She was doing a lot of moving around. I sent her a couple of those little dolly things, a little, you know, the basically a board with wheels on it where you can place boxes and furniture on and just push it around. I sent her 2 of those, right? I paid for her to go to massage parlors. I would send her flowers. I would buy jewelry. I'm like she's very frugal, right? And like single mom, and she does well, but still she has to take care of things, like make things happen. Like she's doing all this stuff on her own, but I mean she's always in style, like her, you know, wear nice clothes. I started sending her designer clothes. Like I to this day I know her. I know her shoe size. I know her dress size. For her birthday, sent her a pair of red bottoms. Yeah, I did all that. I did all that, right? And what did that get me? It got me ghosted. You dig? She couldn't handle it, right? Because honestly, what she wanted was somebody to break her off. She wanted somebody, right? Because keep in mind, when she's dealing with me, I was all the way raw. I was on my tippy toes, right? I was finna do something. I had reverted back to who I was in the 80s and 90s, right? To me, it was like, it's a defense mechanism. You push me far enough, you're going to see a side of me you ain't going to like, right? I'm going to come see you. I'm going to come see you wherever you at. I'm going to come wherever you feel most comfortable, right? You in your bed sleeping, thinking all is well, right? You're going to wake up with me standing over you. That's who I am. Right? That's what lurks inside, right? They say at every galaxy there is a supermassive black hole in the middle. Well, that's my black hole in the middle, right? Fuck with me if you want to. You will see that. Let me calm down, right? So when she came into my life, I was there. I was on my way to do something for real. And she calmed me down. So when I got out here, I wanted to do all these things for her. Like I said, I pedestalized her. I would do anything she asked. I was sitting around trying to anticipate her wants and fulfill those wants for her without her even having to ask me. Because in my mind, That's what a dude was supposed to do. That's what a good man was supposed to do. That was what the prince, the knight in shining armor, was supposed to do. And she was my queen. She was my damsel in distress, right? I was her Arthur. She was my Guinevere, right? For those of y'all who don't know who that is, look it up, King Arthur's story. Matter of fact, Guy Ritchie did a movie on it, pretty good. You should check it out. If you don't want to watch Guy Ritchie, watch Excalibur. It's a really good one. I think that was back in the 70s. But anyway, I pedestalized her. What did she want? She wanted that dude who was on his tippy toes. She wanted that raw dude to come out there and pick her up. You know what I'm saying? And take it. You feel me? Not illegally. Just she wanted that confident man to come and, you know what I mean, pick her up off her feet and take her to the bedroom and break her back. That's what she wanted. Because she was dealing with stuff too. And all she really wanted, she wanted to come real hard 2 or 3 times. That's what she wanted. But I ain't give her that. What did I give her? I gave her the soft, smushy, oh, I love you. You are amazing. Get up there. I treated her like a fan. And she, you know, I'm sorry, I treated her like a star and she treated me like a fan. Couldn't even get an autograph. That kind of fan, an annoying fan, like, get away from me. So what happened? Well, eventually, that's what she did. She didn't want to confront me because she knew, like, this is a good dude. This is the guy who's doing everything he's supposed to do. I don't want to confront him. So, you know, she just stopped, right? Went from every morning, by 7:30 every morning, she would call me. We would talk about what's going on with our kids and getting ready for school and this and that. Don't remember, you got to go do this. Remember you was talking about that. And she'd be telling me, oh yeah, don't forget, I told you go look at this. Don't go check that out. I made not I made a reservation, but I told you go over here, check out this place by this time. Every day, by 7:30 in the morning, we would be talking, and throughout the whole day talking. It was a relationship, straight up. It was a relationship. It was sexless, right? But it was a relationship, and I loved it. And one day, all that stops. Bam. It just stops. No more. Right? And at first, I was just thinking, oh, she must be busy. And I would text her. You know what I mean? I'm going about my day, and I'm like, oh, that's strange. She never responded. Text again. She didn't respond. Go on Instagram, right? Couldn't find her. Right? Couldn't find her Instagram. Like, this is over like a 12-hour period, right? Couldn't find her Instagram. I called, go straight to voicemail. And it took me about a week to figure it out. I was like, oh, this is what the kids call ghosting. This is what that is. I didn't know, right? I didn't know what it was to be ghosted. I didn't know, right? So how did I find out? I did what most men do. I got on YouTube, right? My girlfriend blocked me on Instagram. What does that mean? Boom. And that took me to, it's a brother. I think he's out of California, light-skinned guy. I can't remember his name, but that was the first person in the red pill space, the first platform that I landed on. I forget his name. And he just kind of does something like this. He's sitting in his living room and, his plaque is on the wall behind him. And he's talking about, what does it mean when a girl ghosts you, and how to talk to girls, how to do this, how to do that, the typical stuff you find, red pill content. I wish I could remember his name. I'll find him. And I want to shout that brother out because that was the first platform that I discovered. And from there, it went to Rolo. It went to Rich Cooper, Entrepreneurs in Cars. Then it went to Rolo, Donovan Sharp. Then it was Roommates. And then there was some female sites out there too with some young girl in Britain. I forget her name. Sham Booty. And then I found Fresh and Fit. Right. And I found them right before they hit 100,000 subs. Right before they hit 100, because I started watching their content. I was like, oh wow, I'm watching the after hour show and I'm watching the early shows. I'm like, okay. And I was like, you know what? Let's see what's up with these dudes. They down in Miami, right? I'm listening to Fresh's stories, and this is before the big chain and the watches and all that. This was like right before that. He was just starting to come into his own. And Myron is still Myron, bro. He got the same smartwatch on, wearing the same clothes for about the past 12 years, wearing the merch and working out. So Myron's just Myron. So I go down. I'm like, you know what? They're having this celebration. So I went, got a VIP, bought the VIP package because I wanted to support, because I did like their content. I thought their content was spot on, right? I still believe it. I believe in it wholeheartedly. I send money to those dudes because I don't want their platform to go anywhere. I want people to come here and be able to get answers, because that's how I found them, right? So I go down to Miami. They're having their party, and as we all know, that 100,000 subscriber party went bad. It went bad, and for those of us who are in the Fresh and Fit family, we know why, right? I went down there, right, and I bought the ticket, and then the address was there. I Googled the address. I knew then. I'm like, oh man, this don't look right. This don't look right at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this location, like, y'all in Miami, like Fresh is out there doing this thing. Like, what are we doing here? Like, so I got down there and I saw it, and I was like, oh yeah, man, I don't know how this happened. And I'm here to tell y'all, and we've talked about this before, you can go back into their catalog and pull up some of these episodes. Yo, Myron was hot. Fresh was really upset. But Myron was hot. You know what I mean? Myron was ready to lay hands on people, and I ain't talking about in a religious way, right? And, Mr. Organic was there. Shout out to Mr. Organic. You know what I'm saying? So, and it was what it was. The initial venue was a bust. And Myron and Fresh went into that, and they told you what happened. And here's the thing, just like I did a moment ago when I was like, nah, I'm no victim. It's my fault. What went down with me is my fault. Fresh and Myron both, they took 100% accountability for what happened, and they did everything they could to make it right. They bought out the bar that night at the venue, which was horrible. They bought out the bar, right? They had food come in there. They didn't charge anybody for nothing. And then they went and had an after party, so to speak, an after party at Blackbird in Brickell, right? And then it was like, okay, this is what it is. And it was mad supporters down there. And for their platform, for where they were in their growth, a lot of guys flew in to come down there, and they ended the night at Blackbird. It was on point. I even bought a bottle. I think I bought 2 bottles that night. Then Blackbird is not that expensive, so don't be thinking like, oh man, Saints balling out of control. Nah, what Fresh is doing now, right? That's balling. What we did that night, we were just having a good time, and people engaging. And they had clout back then. The people in Blackbird knew them. We went up in there. They set us up in this little section, and then like a proper section was like right next to us. And the people in that section was about to go, and they recognized Fresh and Myron. They knew the podcast, and they left even a little sooner. Like, hey, we leaving. Why don't y'all take our spot? So we moved our party into that area where at the booth, and we were by the stage, and now it's like proper. And yeah, I bought a second bottle at that point, and then some other brothers had bought some bottles, and it was cool. It turned out to be pretty good. I ain't gonna lie to you. It turned out well, but they did have to address right the initial blunder up front, which they did. They did, and then there were some guys down there. You know what I mean? They were allegedly quote unquote fans, Fresh and Fit fan people, but they were wolves in sheep clothing. They came down there and was complaining and this and that and that, and that's where a lot of this talk about them being frauds and fake gurus came around. I think because of these dudes, there was some dudes down there that was just on some, just on some regular guy shit. I'm just gonna keep it 100. Most people are like that. These guys were just on some regular dude stuff. They watching the after hours. They see the hotness. They see the chicks out there, right? They see the even back then, like Kiki Clout was on there and all that. So they singing all this. These guys are singing this. So when Fresh and Myron decided they're gonna have this celebration for 100,000, these guys are like, yeah, I'm about to come down here and I'm gonna level up. To them it was a cheat code. I'm gonna go down here to the Fresh and Fit party, and I'm gonna be in a room with all these beautiful women, and I'm gonna be able to come up. And that's keeping it 100. That's what it was. And these guys who had no intention of doing the work. These guys weren't trying to better themselves. They weren't trying to get their fitness on point. They weren't trying to get their money on point, right? They weren't trying to level up mentally. They weren't trying to do anything there. They were just trying to smash chicks. They wanted hot chicks, and they thought if they came down here, Fresh and Fit was the cheat code, and they'll be able to get on with some chicks, right? That's what that was. And it didn't work out for them. And it's probably still not working out for them. Because at the end of the day, it's like what Andrew Tate said, right? If you're a dork with $1 billion, you still a dork, right? It doesn't change that. It doesn't change that whatever, man. You a nerd, you a dweeb, you know what I'm saying? You a square, it's whatever. You have to do the work, right? Shout out to Rich Cooper. You have to do the work. There are no shortcuts. If you truly want to be good in life and you want to win, you got to do the work. And that's why I'm a supporter of Fresh and Fit, because they constantly do the work. And that's why I went down there to meet them. And when I met them, they are who they say they are, right? As soon as I got down there, bumped into Myron first. What's up, man? It was like, hey, man, we are who we say we are. Da-da-da-da. I mean, that's how, that's the first thing he said to me. Shook my hand like, man, like I said, man, look, we are who we say we are, man. And Fresh, extremely humble. Like, what's up? Fresh is always thinking. He's always thinking. I'm shaking his hand. He's thinking. I'm like, what's good? Introduce myself. He was like, oh, okay, bro. Yeah. That's right. DL Saint. Thanks for coming down, bro. And I let him go do what he had to do, because again, he was taking it all in, and it was kind of messed up. But by the end of the night, it was all good. You know what I mean? And then I went back a couple months later, and it was Fresh and Chris at Komodo. And Fresh had me up in there with him and Chris, and him and Chris was buying bottles, and I tried to give him money. He was like, nah, man, you took care of things at Black Bar, bro. You with us today, man. We ain't taking your money. Gurus don't do that, people, right? Scammers don't do that, people. You feel me? If someone's offering a scammer money, he gonna take that money, right? I was trying to pay Fresh. He wouldn't take a dime, bro. Wouldn't take a dime. Whenever I go down there, and if I stop by the studio, I always bring gifts. Mine was like, yo, Saint, man, you ain't got to bring that. You ain't got to, come on, man. Like, I do it, you know what I'm saying, out of respect for what they have built, right? But they telling me, like, don't do it. Don't bring this. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do. Scammers don't do that. I just wanted to throw that out there because y'all calling these guys scammers. I haven't seen it. And if they have scammed you out of some money or something, please send me the receipts. I want to know, because I'm always vouching for these guys. And if they are scammers, send me a receipt so I can talk to them about it, because I will sit down with them, right? Immediately sit down with them and plop that on the desk and like, yo, what's the deal with this? You know what I mean? And here's the thing. There ain't no receipts out there because they ain't scamming, right? So that's how I found the Red Pill community. That's how I found Fresh and Fit. And then everyone that I've bumped into since in that space, I've discovered them through Fresh and Fit. Case in point, the Tate brothers, Andrew and Tristan Tate, through Fresh and Fit, Coach Greg Adams, through that platform. There's so many others I just can't think of right now, but they come through this platform that teach you about game, they teach you about making money, they teach you about stocks. They share with you what they know about crypto, they share with you what they know about real estate, right? They're sharing with you these things. They will give their advice on young guys who are saying, hey, I make this much and I'm thinking about, I got this much, put away, or I got an inheritance or something like that. What should I do? Should I go out and buy me a Lambo, or should I do this and that? I think it was a guy that called in once, was like, should I go out and buy or lease a BMW? It was like maybe an M3 or something like that. It was a 3 Series, maybe an M3, which clearly the guy could not afford this car. And Fresh and Myron were like, nah, bro, don't do that. Take the money that you would spend on that car and invest it. Don't, that's a waste of money. You can't afford it. If something goes wrong, if you don't make this bread, you're going to mess up your credit. And then they do a couple really good shows, 2 or 3 good shows on credit and the importance of credit and how to build your credit and how to protect your credit and how to leverage your credit to get into properties. So how you could take, your credit, which is a liability, and make it an asset. They talk about these things on their platform. for free, right? So yeah, and they built this Patreon community. They have a Patreon with some real loyal dudes in there, and I tell you what, they built this community that runs on itself. There's guys in there that are helping other men get better, and this is stuff that they say on their platform all the time. Men shouldn't be sharing their, go running to their girls with their problems. They should be going to other men. This is how it's always been. I gotta agree with that. Right? I'm not gonna go home to some girl that I'm messing with or my girlfriend and tell her my problems. Nah, I'm gonna come home and be like, everything good, right? The bills are paid. We got food in the refrigerator, gas in the cars, right? We got money in the bank. Everything's good. She don't need to know how hard it is for me out there to get to secure all these things. All she needs to do, stay home, right? She could stay feminine, right? Stay feminine and don't bug your dude. Like don't complain. Be peaceful. Don't be quarrelsome, right? That's again, this is what they talk about. It's not much stuff that dudes want. I don't want to have to come home. Like the problem I had with my son's mom. She was quarrelsome. Couldn't tell her nothing. She was always running her mouth, constantly running her mouth. I have her sitting around with major people. She running her mouth, right? Missing the gems that these wealthy people are dropping. Because trust me, if I'm talking to somebody, right, that person has a story that's going to benefit me, right? And I was telling her that I'm not you. I'm not the Duchess of dumbasses. I'm not going to be sitting around with these people, right, trying to stroke my ego. I'm sitting around with people who are making moves. And these people who can help me make moves. Oh, don't take that path, man. I went down that path. Take this path right here. You take this path, it's going to save you at least $50,000 in the short term. Oh, cool. You know what I'm saying? So she couldn't step up to that. She couldn't be around me because she was a problem. You know what I mean? Like they say, it's better to live on the roof than to share a home with a quarrelsome woman or however the passage goes. But back to Fresh and Fit. They've taken so much heat over this past year and a half, 2 years for these clips, right? And I mean, I work with another YouTuber, Suzette Speaks. She's an attorney. She's also in Miami. A very lovely woman, very smart woman. She's built this platform. She has a platform, and she has allowed me to participate with her on her platform multiple times. And we were talking today, actually planning a show for this coming Thursday. We're going to do a show, and I'm grateful. Thank you, Suzette. Shout out to you. I really appreciate your help because she's been in the business longer than me. She's just getting started, but she has a few thousand subscribers. I have 64 or something like that, right? But she's willing to work with me and show me the ropes, and I'd be a fool not to take her advice. And I was telling her when I first did her show, hey, I just want you to know I am a supporter of Fresh and Fit because she has a very active community that follows her, and her chat, they're on it. And DL Saint is DL Saint. If you go to Fresh and Fit's platform, you go to their Patreon, whatever, I'm it. I'm the dude, right? I'm him. I'm DL Saint. So I had to tell her up front, yo, I'm a supporter of Fresh and Fit because I wasn't sure where the conversation might go or this and that. And then she made a mental note, and I mentioned them a lot when I'm a Fresh and Fit dude. And so today we actually had the conversation. And she was like, yeah, you've been saying that, but all I know about Fresh and Fit is, they're bad and they mistreat women and, they're real toxic. I'm like, yo, have you ever watched any of their content? She's like, nope, but I've seen the clips. I'm like, yeah, I would challenge you to watch their content, which brings me to the point of me jumping on live and doing this. I would always struggle with the right clips to send people because Fresh and Myron, their show can run long. It's very long form, and it was just hard to find the clips that I wanted to send people to say, hey man, check this out. This is who they really are. Check this out. And today I have it because they were on the PBD podcast today, And this is it. This is what I'm gonna be sending to people from now on when they're asking me about Fresh and Fit. I'm gonna forward this, right? I'm gonna send this to them. So, and I'm gonna play a couple quick clips and comment on real quick, but PBD podcast, like and subscribe to that. Please follow that. Patrick Ben David, he brings on some of the top financial people in the world, comes on his podcast and they talk about a whole bunch of stuff. There's so many gems on there when they bring 1%ers on to talk about what's going on in the world. So please like and subscribe what he's doing over there. And then there's also Valuetainment. Like and subscribe that as well. You'll find it under PBD's page. When you go there on this channel, you'll also see the Valuetainment on there. Like and subscribe as well. Support them. Support what they're doing over there because we need that. We need that big time. So here we go. This is that's Myron on the left. That's Fresh on the right for those who don't know. And they are Fresh and Fit. And we're just gonna listen to this a little bit.
Is that we have a lot of, as you guys know, we do a podcast. We have a daytime podcast that we do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then we do our nighttime show with the girls. And since it's longer form content, our podcast goes easily from 2 all the way to 5 hours sometimes. And, we have discussions with women, a lot of girls from all different types of walks in life. We're talking, everywhere from like educated women to OnlyFans girls to strippers to models, whatever it may be, attractive girls to not so attractive girls, girls in all different types of demographics. And people take clips from these conversations and, they take obviously something that's like crazy that I say, put it as a clip and then put it out there. And if you put it out there, it might look wild, right? So then people, oh my God, you guys are misogynists, whatever. But if you saw the entire context of the conversation, what led to that, portion of or that clip, you'll see, okay, now that makes sense. So a lot of people clip our stuff in general.
Or like for
virality.
Sometimes you'll kick a girl out.
Yes, that's
and obviously people want to focus on the fact that, all right, get the hell out.
Yep.
But what were the 5 minutes before that? You've asked them repeatedly, hey, stop disrespecting the podcast.
Yeah.
Stop doing side chatter. I've been there. I've been on the podcast. I've seen what's going on.
Well, let me. Okay, so let's go a little bit deeper. Let's go a little bit deeper because so far, I don't have a lot of things that I have. Everything makes sense so far to me. Define to me how you view what an alpha is and what a beta is. Right? I heard Rollo's definition. Maybe you guys got a different one that you have. But how do you see, what would you define as somebody that's an alpha versus a beta?
So, man, these terms, man.
Yeah, we typically don't even really use those terms, man. I know a lot of people use it from a placeholder standpoint.
Like you'll say, what you call them? You said something about
the white knight.
They call them the white knight.
Who are you talking about, by the way?
David.
David. Sorry.
David in the back.
Tyler too?
It's funny.
Not yet.
One of our supporters sent us a clip, right, of him talking about us, and it's funny because they're like, "Yo, this white knight is."
So, I wanted to play that just to show folks what Mr. Bet Davis said right off rip. I don't see the problem. What's going on here? I've heard all the smoke. Fresh and Fit's coming. Oh my God, bar the doors. You know what I mean? Get the swords out. You know what I mean? Fresh and Fit is coming. And the guys get there. They're in the studio. He's listening. Right? Patrick Ben David, like he's listening. He is a self-made man. He really came from nothing. This is a guy who does not dwell in his emotions, right? This is a guy who's going to sit back, right? He's going to take in what you have to say, and he's going to call you on it. He's like, all right, either you being real or you full of shit, right? And what is he saying? I don't see the problem, right? Right off rip. Why are people mad at you? I agree 100% with what you're saying so far. So yeah.
Simp is trying to talk about Fresh and Fit, but he's a simp. And it's like, yo, real talk, I don't know the dude, but how he's sounding is kind of, I don't know.
So a simp, basically, if I'm going to define it, is basically a guy that gives his attention, resources, energy, whatever it may be, to a woman that isn't necessarily reciprocating for what he wants, which is what, 9 out of 10 times intimacy. So that's, if I'm going to boil it down, that's a simple way
I will say that David is not a simp. I will, for the audience out there, he's actually a cool pimp-ass dude. Yeah. He is maybe a white knight, but not a simp.
What's your long-term game? Meaning, do you guys have any plans of one day getting married, having a family?
So, and it was, they talked about marriage, and I think that Patrick Mr. Bet David was shocked to hear that, Myron and Fresh actually believe in a nuclear family, and they actually believe that, men and women are better together than they are apart. And I think it shocked him. And there's a part in here that I'm looking for, and then I'm gonna wrap this up because I have to go get my daughter, where they were talking to the tech guy, the guy who actually runs the sound and controls the camera, the producer of the show. And I forget his name, but apparently that guy really doesn't like Fresh and Fit. And then they, and I apologize up front for not having a time hack, because I normally do that. I'll make my notes and do my time hacks, but I was so excited. I just wanted to jump in here and do this real quick. And I really didn't have time to do that. Actually, I did have time. I just screwed up, right? It's on me. I screwed it up. Like I told my soldiers, and like I did when I was in the Army, you don't want to be a stupid fuck. I was a stupid fuck. It's on me. It is what it is. I'm going to own that. But I'm trying to find that part where old boy was talking. He was like, Patrick Big David asked him, why don't you like Fresh and Fit? And the guy had to answer, which I thought was hilarious. So as I scroll looking for this thing, right, I'm just gonna be talking busy talk, like blah blah blah. Oh, here it is. I'm gonna be talking busy talk. Let me see if I can go back. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna go back a little bit, and here we go. I'm about to play it.
Sure, Patrick Poland comes to you. I'm going to be the next podcast person, but they haven't put the work in, right? Yeah. You talk about the competence, you talk about accomplishments and confidence. How many times, Patrick, in society, someone's come up to you and you're like, come on, realistically? Like, really? You know what I'm saying? I think it's really a society thing in general, man. Everyone just has this perception that, they're more worth than what they really are. And you keep talking about that market value, right, Patrick?
I think the main thing is what they're doing right that's working for them. Gentlemen, if you can get anything out of what they're doing that's working for them, they're managing expectations up front. The opposition either likes the expectation or it doesn't. It's not their problem.
Yep. Yeah.
It's the opposition's problem. You don't like it, don't like it. You like it, you like it. There's nothing else you can say about it because it's my life. So if somebody comes on like Tyler, okay, Tyler, why don't you tell us your philosophy, because you're very upset at Fresh and Fit. I asked him off before you guys came in. I said, so what do you think about these guys? I don't know. I don't know. So why don't you tell us your philosophy? It's slightly different.
Well, so maybe I got some of the viral clips, right? But there's like you said, there's nothing that they've said today that I've disagreed with at all. But like I've been with the same girl since I was 18. We have a kid together. She's a partner of mine. I get better as she gets better. She helps out. I pick up the slack where she can't. She picks up my slack. Like, it's a partnership. It's something we want to grow and foster and nurture. And that's, I think a lot of people have lost that idea that if you want to take over the world, you don't need a boss bitch or a bad bitch or whatever it is. You need somebody that's going to pick up where you leave off, and likewise, and you guys can conquer the world together.
That's what they're saying as well, though.
Well, yeah.
And so they're saying that the bad bitch is not the model, is what they're talking about. They don't want that. That's what Fresh was talking about.
Yeah.
So
we'll smash them, but we won't wipe them.
Yeah. While you're single.
So there it is right there. Right? Live and direct is right there. What I think his name was Tyler. And again, I don't know. I know the guy works hard. Shout out to you, brother. I hope one day to meet you, and we probably will cross paths because I'm always down in South Florida. I'm always in Broward and Dade counties. I hope one day I get to meet you. And here's the thing. To you, brother, I would say you won the game. You absolutely won the game. I wish that 80% of men had your success. And what I mean by that is you met the perfect woman for you at 18. At 18. Let's keep it in 100, right? Fresh and Fit did had Rolo Tomasi on last week, and they were talking about body counts. They were talking about a woman's sexual past matters and why. And they were bringing up stats and talking about pair bonding and, Why is it so difficult for modern women to maintain a relationship and keep a guy? And it boils down to they just had sex with too many dudes, right? This brother right here, right? This brother right here is probably the only man his wife has ever known sexually. There's a good chance that she was a virgin. He took her virginity. It's a really good chance that that's the case, right? And if so, and Andrew Tate says this all the time, that woman truly loves and admires and respects this guy, Tyler, right? I think his name was Tyler or Taylor. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, if I didn't catch it correctly. She will probably never cheat on this guy. She's not even attracted to other men. She won't even look at another dude because she is with the best man she can get, and she's happy. And it's like Andrew Tate said, that is a beautiful thing. When two people truly love, honor, and respect each other, he is killing it. He won the game, right? He's probably the 0.00001% of men in the West who are successful, right? Oh, I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you, because half of marriages work, but that doesn't account for people being happy. That just means they didn't get divorced, right? And the man is out doing crazy stuff, and the woman's out doing crazy stuff, and the kids are kind of stuck in the middle trying to figure things out. No, what he has, right, is truly to be honored and respected, and that would be great. And it used to be that way back in the day, by the way. It did used to be that way, but you know, they talk about this all the time with the internet, with Instagram and all that. Things have changed. So, and he never watched. He admitted it. Yeah, man, I never really watched the platform. I just saw the viral stuff, and you know, basically, man, I don't like y'all. Okay, fair enough. Now, Fresh and Fit is sitting there in the flesh, and they're having a conversation. And what did he say? Hey, man, I agree with everything y'all said today. Right? That's what he said. I agree with everything y'all said today. My problem is, you know, it seemed to me that you guys were promoting womenizing and this, that, and the third, or whatever he was thinking. You know what I mean? I don't like, you know, I've been married to the same woman and I'm happy and da, 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 da. Great. You won, brother. You absolutely are killing the game. And you and your wife will probably die together. Y'all probably grow old and die together because she ain't out there being all wild. She ain't shaking her butt on Instagram. She's not trying to get attention of random guys. She has the best man for her, and she's happy. And if you watch Fresh and Fit, that's what they talk about, man. They're trying to put the man in position to get the best woman, right, that they can. And they give you strategies on how to keep her in check. And I hate to say it like that, but it really is. You want to keep her in line. You want her to understand that you will cut her loose at the first sign of fuckery. I'm gonna cut you loose, right? You need her to understand that. So I shout out to him for being honest. And the same thing happened when they went to New York and they went on Flagrant 2. Same thing happened. These guys out here trying to pick a fight with Fresh and Myron. Myron's they there to talk. I mean, let's talk about our philosophies. You want to know how we think and what we're about. We're here to discuss it. But you had a Kaj and then that black dude who don't date black women was in there being all passive aggressive and talking all this whatever, trying to, you know what I mean? It's like you ain't even want to hear it. You don't even want to hear it, right? And at the end of the day, if you sit down and listen to these guys, if you sit down and listen to most people in the red pill community, and when I say these guys, I mean Fresh and Fit, but when you sit down and actually listen, it makes sense. They're not out there on some craziness. They're not saying women should be dumb and barefoot and pregnant and sit. They're not saying all that, right? They don't slut shame. They don't. They bring a lot of sluts on the show and they don't. Myron says it. They're gonna have a late night show tonight. I guarantee you, on that late night show tonight, at some point he'll tell the women, "You do you, girl. Go get your bag. Go get your education. Go get that career. You know what I mean? You do you. You want to be a thought, man? Go out there. Go out there and get that money. Go to Dubai and have some dude take a dump on you. Whatever. Get that money, right? He's saying this, do you. But what he's also saying is understand that comes at a cost, right? If you doing all that, your ability to pair bond with some dude goes down greatly, right? And this stuff that you out here doing, right? People filming it. You ain't getting away from it. Ever. Right? Ever. So you out there, you think you done scrubbed your digital footprint and you done finally came across your Prince Charming and you're gonna be the virgin again, you're gonna do all this stuff, and then he finds out, one of his people come up and be like, yeah, man. Yeah, I smashed her and all my dudes smashed her, and that's what it's about. And she's gonna lose that guy. That guy's gonna drop her, you know what I'm saying? Like she's hot, cuz. Colonel Sanders, I see you. What's good, bro? What's good? Yeah, thanks, man. Like I'm just getting started, man. I know I ain't got no followers or nothing yet, but I'm working on it, brother. So thank you, man. We up here in Tampa, me and Colonel Sanders making it happen up here in Tampa. And yo, for real though, for real, we got to get together, brother. I know we keep missing. We got to get together, man. I'm gonna take you with me. I'm gonna show you how the old people do it, bro. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I'm saying with reference to Fresh and Fit, right? With reference to Coach Greg Adams, Donovan Sharp, Entrepreneurs in Cars, Rollo Tomasi and Entrepreneurs in Cars, that's Rich Cooper, right? With all these men who are simply giving you the facts, right? And I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna wrap this up. When I was a soldier, right, and all soldiers will tell you that. All soldiers will tell you this, right? You prepare and prepare and prepare for the battle, right? You train hard, right? You train on the basics. You get it down, right? That's why you see these videos of people blindfolded and they're breaking down their weapons and putting them back together and all that kind of stuff. Training. That's how well you need to know your weapons. That's how well you need to know your weapon systems. You stay fit, right? You run it. You're always out in the field. At least I was. I was one of those soldiers with that, you see that flag behind me, right? I was airborne, right? I was everything about airborne. I wasn't just a guy who went to the school, got his 5 jumps, and now I got my little patch. No, right? I was about that life. We trained all the time, right? It was always miserable out there, right? If it ain't raining, we ain't training. If it ain't snowing, we ain't going. That's how it is. We was out there miserable. We embraced the suck because we knew the harder we trained, the better our odds of surviving a conflict, right? We trained hard. And when we did have to go, when we did find ourselves in a situation, right? It was never what we were briefed, ever. I've never been on a mission, ever. And it went down the way it was supposed to go down. Ever. Never went on a mission where it was going to be the way they said it was going to be. We're going to drop you guys in here at this time, right? You're going to rendezvous with this element at that time. And on your right flank over here is going to be these armor assets. And then the Air Force is going to be providing you air cover. And we're going to have none of that would ever happen. They would drop us maybe 5 miles away from where we're supposed to be dropped, right? All the other assets were pulled for something else. It's just us, right? We're supposed to be out there for 4 days, right? We're 35 days into the mission, right? But we knew this. And what did we have to do? We had to adjust to the situation on the ground. There is no way. There's absolutely no way that you're going to be successful in your mission and ignore the facts on the ground. Period. Right? So what is the red pill community? What are they trying to do for men and some women? There are women out there part of the red pill community who are watching this and they're learning too, right? What are they doing? They're giving you the facts on the ground. This is what it is. This is what you're dealing with. Instagram is a thing. Facebook is a thing, right? You got Snapchat and all this other kind of stuff. Online dating. That's the thing. Women have all these choices. They don't even have to move. Go back and watch that PBD podcast. Myron was making an analogy about a cup, and like how women fill that cup with attention. And it was you got to go watch. First time I ever heard him make that analogy, and it was spot on. They are giving you the situation on the ground. I can't sit here and tell you that everything's going to be hunky-dory, right? I can't sit here and tell you that all women are sugar and spices and everything nice. I can't tell you that and expect you to be successful. Just like I can't tell my soldiers, paint a rosy picture of what's going on. Well, when we get there, it's going to be this and it's going to be that and it's going to be, rainbows and candy canes and it's going to be strippers everywhere and it's going to be blow. No, when we hit the ground, right, it's going to get loud. It's going to get ugly. Some of us ain't coming back, right? We've got to get this mission done. And when we hit the ground, it's like, this isn't how we practiced it. That's fine. Get it together. Rally up on me, right? And once all my people get here, we're good. We here. We got your shit. It's time for some leadership stuff, man. It's time to be a super duper paratrooper. You stand up and you say, pick up your weapon and follow me. We're going to make this happen. That's all they're trying to do. They're trying to equip men to deal with the situation on the ground today. And if you can take that information, like Mr. Bet Davis said, you could take that information and use it to your advantage and accomplish your mission, or you can ignore that information and run out there and get chopped up. Choice is yours, right? Red pill, blue pill. I'm red pill. I'm unplugged. I want the truth. I want the facts on the ground, because the way I was brought up is mission first. And in order for me to be successful with my mission, right, I need the truth. So that's it. That's all I got to say, man. I'm DL Saint. And this is the I Really Want to Know podcast. Shout out to Colonel Sanders. Yo, thanks again, brother, for showing the love. 100% true. Thanks for showing that love as well. I don't know who you are, but I'm definitely looking forward to getting to know you. Suzette Speaks. Shout out to you. Check her out. I think she'll be on today and on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. So check out her show, like and subscribe. And of course, everyone I mentioned, Rolo Tomasi, Entrepreneurs in Cars, Donovan Sharp, Coach Greg Adams, and of course, Fresh and Fit podcast. Like and subscribe. Yo, well done, brothers. I'm proud of y'all. That's what I'm talking about. Keep doing shows like that, man. And like y'all said, man, while they hate, y'all create. Keep doing it. Thanks for encouraging me, because I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for y'all. That's 100% real talk right there. I'm out of here. I'll talk to y'all later. Good day.